Hey Rubies, welcome back to the channel. So sorry guys that I was late. A lot of stuff happened right before I needed to go live. Okay, I'm just kind of like mentally drained now that I've gotten on here. So hopefully we can get through this live. It's gonna be a little bit shorter than normally. I wanted to go a little bit longer today and kind of really spend time talking about it, but I physically don't feel as I just feel physically drained, like physically drained. And so I'm hoping I can get some decent, like really good sleep tonight. And then, come back again with better energy. But as I was saying to you guys, that's why I kind of started late. Um, because I actually had like a little power outage in my area, and then I was out in the cold, and that's not good. So like right now I'm just like I said, I'm feeling physically drained of my energy, and it's been a long day as well. So let's go ahead and get into this case study of why I feel like, first of all, Beyonce's businesses keep flopping. Um and not that they're all flops, like you know what I mean, but she definitely um kind of needs to get with her team and figure out how to keep a brand how to keep a brand really good, like keep a brand going, right? So I feel like you're Beyonce, you should have a really good team, and you should be able to execute this, and also do a lot of market research and everything like that. So let me just check and make sure that my sound is working good, and then we are going to go ahead and get into it today. Okay, guys. Let me just check. I have to check because my timing was a little bit late, and I want to make sure you guys are getting everything. Yeah, okay. So let me just check and make sure my sound and everything is good. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. We are sounding good. Everything check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Okay, so let me add this to the stage. So tonight we're going to be talking about how to market yourself as a late bloomer. And Beyonce is not a late bloomer. I just want to clarify that before somebody comes in the comments and says, Beyonce's not a late bloomer. Right, she's not a late bloomer. But because I'm talking to a lot of my feminine late bloomers on this channel, I'm going to craft a message to late bloomers who are creatives, business owners, women who are entrepreneurs who are getting started, and they might feel like they're a little bit behind the curve, right? And so Beyonce is just our case study today. And so I'm going to go ahead and get into talking about some of her businesses and kind of her brand, her personal branding. Let's see. Okay, so first of all, the question that I'm asking is, why is Beyonce not selling? So Beyonce has such a dynamic and such a strong personal brand as Beyoncé. Say Beyoncé. Sorry. I would never forget her doing that during the DC like era. Like that's how much of a strong brand she has, that like she was when during Say My Name, she was saying her name, okay? So I was wondering like, okay, why is Beyonce not selling? Like if we compared her to other celebrity brands, which I don't care to, because everybody's brand is unique. You have Rihanna, you have Selena Gomez, you have Who else has a really strong personal brand? Alicia Keys Soul Care that came out. It seems to be doing well. So far, I'm not sure how long it's going to be, profitable, but right now it's doing well, and she seemed to, found a niche with that, with the skincare and the candles and the yeah, Keys Soul Care. So my first question I'm asking as somebody who looks at branding is, why is Beyonce not selling? And this doesn't mean she's not selling anything. This means that she's not making a legacy out of these brands she's starting. And so for to answer that question, I have to go back into um I have to go back and look at 1 second. Y'all know I can't multitask. Okay. Okay, so in the chat, let you guys know that sorry I'm late. I had an emergency, so right before, but now I'm back in action. So why is Beyonce not selling? And to answer this question, we have to look at the previous businesses she's had. Let's look at her personal branding and let's get into some things. So, oop, here we go. So, to look at why Beyonce is not selling as well as I feel like she should be, I'm looking at her target audience. So, of course, on one side, we have her fans. Obviously, that's her target audience for her personal brand, right? And then on the other side, we have her target, I'm sorry, her fans and her target audience, right? So when I think about her fans, they're going to buy anything that she's selling, really. Like, even if they don't have the money, they're going to find the money for it, right? So that's not who we want to target and who we want to brand and market the product off of, because her fans will buy anything from her. Um, Now, her target audience, I kind of just put a mock thing in here, but I really do feel like the thing that's missing from Beyonce's brand and the reason why it's not selling as well is because she has not locked down her target audience on who she wants to market and brand to. So, what was I going to say? So, the first thing we're gonna look at is target audience and who she's targeting, right? Because it seems like when I analyzed her brand, I looked at all of them and I was like, okay, so what is the big issue that I've seen with all of her brands? We don't know who it's targeted to. If it's targeted to her fans range from so many different ages, so many different backgrounds, demographics, everything. And so when you get down to the numbers and the logistics of it all, you realize that that's a lot of different people you're marketing to, and they all have different wants, different needs. They're all going to purchase different things. And so it seems in all of her branding, I don't know who her target audience is. For Rihanna, she has a specific target audience, right? And we see from, I think she started Fenty in 2017. So she's been 2017. Is that true? Because that's Anti came out in some around that. Like we're in 2024, and she still has a successful brand. And so I wanted to go and look back at Beyonce's accomplishments. That's the first thing that I do want to talk about, because this is not drag Beyonce day. She definitely has some really good points that she should be applying to her and to her marketing for her brands, like some strategy she's been using within the music industry, and she should be applying that same thing to her businesses so they can thrive. So number 1 is she is known for having surprise albums. Like, she started that, she pioneered that, the surprise albums and the visual albums. So when it comes to her businesses, there's been a lack of marketing, and there's also lack of surprise. Like, she just says, "Oh, I'm coming out with something." Like, okay, but like, where's the visual aesthetic aspect of marketing that gets people excited? Where's the rollout? Like, when you do a rollout for an album, you do also do a rollout for a product as well. And so I have noticed with her products and her brands, like we get a little bit, like maybe she'll surprise and be like, oh, she has something coming, but it's not giving, like there's no storytelling to it, right? So number two, Beyonce has 32 Grammys and 88 Grammy nominations. There's more statistics when you get into that. So obviously this is a woman who knows how to win. And so why is she not selling and winning in her businesses is another story. The next thing, she is actually known for reviving the art form of albums. So this was something that if you've watched Beyonce's documentary as well, she says people don't want to make albums anymore. And it's like that same energy should be applied to your businesses. Like in terms of how you're making albums, the energy you're putting into making and crafting an album, your launches for your businesses don't feel like that. Like they feel very like a cash grab, really. They feel like, okay, I'm about to sell these fans something because I know they're gonna buy something from me because they Beehive. And yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out. Like it might be cute, got some cute packaging, but I'm not really putting that energy behind it. And so you can tell where her passion is because it's obviously in the music. Because we have surprise albums, visual albums, the music, her musicality and the way she puts together music, the way she sings, the way she's, her vocals, her performance. That's obviously where the passion is. And so that same passion, and I think that's what works for Rihanna is that we know she's really passionate about this. Like this is not just something she threw out and she's like, okay, hopefully I make it like $100 million and then, we can just like discontinue the brand and move on. Um, Rihanna actually feels like it's her job, like it's passionate. And she says multiple times that she found, like music was like her gateway drug. And now she found something that she's passionate about, which is Fenty Beauty and all the other conglomerates that came from there, right? So these are some aspects that I see about Beyonce's brand that I feel like she needs to incorporate in marketing for those products, right? And the same passion that she provides, that she puts into her music, we want to see that with the products as well. So we're going to talk about marketing for Beyonce. Marketing is manipulation. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it is, you are trying to persuade somebody, you are trying to get them and influence them to purchase your product. And she has been able to do that with music. We trust her. Like I trust Beyonce, except for Cowboy Carter. I'm sorry, but y'all can come. I don't care if I see bees in the comments and stuff. Cowboy Carter was not it. Renaissance, I'll listen to Renaissance for the rest of my life, but Cowboy Carter was not it because it did not, it felt very much like a cat. I don't know. I wouldn't call it a cash grab. It just felt very like I'm going to stick it to you and make a country album, but there's not really a passion for country. And yes, you can tell there's not a, and I'm somebody who listens to country music. Like I listen to Jason Aldean. I love Florida Georgia Line. Like I love country music and I listen to country music. And so for Beyonce to embark on this country music, and maybe she did it just to open the doors for actual Black country artists. And I think about that too, as her being just a pioneer. Maybe she was like, okay, so if I do it, then I know they're going to open the door, or at least, like try to make even a little hole or something like that for other Black artists to get recognition in country music. And I don't think she thought of how much a challenge that would be, but at least she's bold enough to to try, right? So anyways, when it comes to her marketing, because I'm getting off topic, but there's a couple of questions that I have to ask, and this is what you need to be asking yourself if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a creative, if you're starting a brand. What is your brand promise? What is something that you promise that you provide to your target audience? Number two, who is she marketing to? So who is her audience? Now it can't be the beehive, because the beehive, they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna buy anything that she's selling. But who is specifically is that product made for? And I'll get into that when I get into her businesses like Sacred and Ivy Park, House of Darion, her perfumes, all that kind of stuff. So, product. How does her product help me? So when we're looking at what kind of product she's creating, when you look at your target audience and then you look at, well, how is my product going to help my target audience? If I'm marketing to somebody who's 25, they're not going to need a gray hair removal shampoo. Like, they're not going to need that because they're 25. Like, they're not, and granted, they might buy it, but that doesn't mean it needs to be targeted. It needs to be specific, down to the demographic, down to whoever Beyoncé is looking to target. And that's the point of making a successful business, because, for example, Rare Beauty is a really good brand. That I'm not going to use Rihanna because I feel like Rihanna and Beyonce, they always come up in the same conversation. Rare Beauty has really good products. They came out with these blushes, and then Selena Gomez, she decided to make, Rare Beauty. She talked about giving to mental health. And that was something that aligned with her brand, but it also aligned with her target audience. So people who go to Rare Beauty, not only do they love the makeup, but they're connected to the vision of her trying to help for mental health and being rare and being different and being not like everybody else. And so when it comes to even like Sacred, like when I think about Sacred, like what am I connecting to? Am I just buying this because it's Beyonce's brand? It's not only just about the products being good. Yes, I want the products to be really well and I want them to work really well, but I want to be connecting to a bigger vision. And so I think there's other things that I could say about Beyonce, and reason why it's not successful is because she's anti-celebrity, or she's very private, or like all these things, but that's not it. The thing is, she's not her team, because really it's not Beyonce, it's her team. Is not they need probably need more black people on her team. Like, I don't know, but on like with her marketing and her branding, I don't see a strong pull. I don't see a strong story. Even with Sacred, I think when the launch came out, she said that she was inspired by her mom, Tina, and her mom, Tina, was a cosmetologist. Okay, that's great. But is this Tina's brand or is this Beyonce's brand? Because I'm trying to figure out, because I don't know Tina. Tina's not the celebrity with the star power. She's your mom, but like, if I wanted to, like, I feel like sometimes Beyonce's mom vicariously lives through her. Like, as where like a lot of these brands, and like I said, I'll get into that. A lot of these brands, you'll see her in, they're starting it together. And it's like, that's fine. Tina, or is her mom's name Tina? I might be saying her mom's name all wrong. Tina Knowles. Yes. Okay. That's her name. Like, I might be, we might be interested, but we're not. Like, Tina she's not Beyonce. She's not Beyonce. So I am, looking for Beyonce. I want to kind of feel like I have an not intimate connection, but like I'm getting up close and personal with Beyonce. I have this product in my hand that Beyonce created, right? And that's kind of with Rihanna. Like, I'm using her products and I know Rihanna wears this. Like, I'm wearing Fenty Gloss and Rihanna wears this Fenty Gloss as well. And so that is something that is missing in her branding. And so the last part is, what is her story? Not what's Tina's story, Tina Knowles' story. I don't need to know Tina Knowles' story. I need to know Beyonce's story. If she's starting a hair care thing, like if she's starting Sacred, where's the stories of her? Like, I saw a little bit in the branding. Like, I could probably pull up a picture, and I think there was a picture of her mom doing her hair or whatever, but like, Beyonce, there was a lack of storytelling. Like, so many women would have been connected to Beyonce saying, when I was young and I was performing, I had to go on stage and, I had to keep my hair in braids. And I used this, like, I didn't use sacred, but, I had to use oils in my hair to keep it from breaking off. And, I was backstage and, wearing wigs, ripped out my edges and everything like that. And so there's just a lack of, not personality, because I feel like Beyonce has personality. There's a lack of personability and storytelling within the way that she's marketing her products, because people are connected to the story. People are wanting to follow your journey. They need to be emotionally connected and inspired by your story to want to support. And I'm not talking about just the Beehive. I'm talking about other people, the people that are going to keep your business afloat. See, the Beehive is going to buy anything that she's selling. Other people are not. They're gonna be like, oh, that's Beyonce. Okay, we don't care. If she ain't selling music, I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, and so in order to keep these people, her target audience, buying from her, be invested in her brand, and to end up becoming a brand, a household name that somebody cares about. And so maybe that's not her goal. Maybe it is just a cash grab for her because her and Jay-Z are big capitalists. But that's the topic for another day. So if you want to get into those details, definitely join the Red Ruby Club, because I talk about all of it over there. This is not the platform for it, but at the Red Ruby Club, you can join as a free subscriber. You can become a paid subscriber as well and get access to paid posts, exclusive content. And over there, I talk about that a little bit. But so let's go ahead and get on to her first business. What is Beyonce's differentiation strategy? What makes her product stand out? So in terms of music, Beyonce's music as a product, she stands out, especially from her like rap singing style. That's something that was really popular after the 2000s, after she kind of went, I think, like 2002, 2010, 2014. um her musical style changed, right? And so that differentiated her from others. Also, she had a lot of audacity and arrogance. Now, those two words are not bad words to me. I love those two words because I think women need two things: arrogance and audacity. And that's one of the things I teach over at the Red Ruby Club. But her having this big star power is something that differentiated her. And it's something that the record labels and also younger women, who are new and up and coming artists, have been trying to replicate. They've been trying to replicate the Beyonce sauce, the extraness, the throwing their hair around, the dancing on stage, the Sasha Fierce. So she has a differentiation strategy, but when it comes to her brands and her products, they seem to be lackluster. Like, how do you have such a big star power as an artist where it's like Beyonce, my name in lights, you know what I mean? Like, I'm throwing my hair around, single ladies. Like, when I hear Beyonce, I get lit. Like, I feel very fierce. But when I have her products in my hand, I don't feel the same way. It feels very lackluster. And so, in order to do this, she needs to apply that same, like I said, same energy into her marketing strategy. So her brand archetype, and this is what I feel like her brand archetype should be, is the magician. And we'll get into that a little bit later in the live. But let's talk about her first brand. So in 2005, Beyonce launched House of Darion. And of course, as you can see Miss Tina Knowles in the pictures as well. She was a part of her marketing campaign. So it was about design heritage retailers shop, sportswear, outerwear, footwear, and where the slogan was where the sidewalk and catwalk meet. So it was about, kind of a streetwear fashion where it was very much the 2000s. And this was very popular amongst women, like celebrities in 2000s. I remember Kylie and Kendall, I know they had a clothing line, but also like Paris Hilton and different stars would start clothing lines. And also, I mean, she's married to Jay-Z, who started Rockaware, and then you have Sean John from Diddy. You had, this during the 2000s, having a clothing brand was kind of like the thing to do. Excuse me. Oh, wait. Okay. So one second, y'all. One second. Ooh. So yes, having a fashion line was just something that was fundamental to kind of being like a pop star in the 2000s. It was kind of like the next thing in line. Excuse me. So she created House of Darion in 2005, and like I said, it was in collaboration with her mother Tina Knowles. You'll see her in the background here, in the background over here. And this line, I remember hearing about it and seeing it when I was growing up, but I was probably too young to wear it. I know it was in Macy's. I know it was in a couple other department stores, but for some reason the brand just kind of fizzled out. It didn't really make an impact. Like there was no you still okay, give I'll give you an example. Baby fat. Baby fat has made a resurgence now, and even then a lot of a lot of people, it held nostalgia in people's minds to where it was able to come back. Like I think they relaunched it with her daughters or whatever, but it made such an impact in the 2000s that people like baby fat was a thing, right? House of Darion was never like a thing. It was never like, oh my god, that new House of Darion. Like no one ever said, no one ever. Like, so it's not to say that this was because of Beyonce, but it's showing a pattern of how her businesses kind of don't have that longevity or that impact that they should have because she's such a big star. Um the next business, and this is one that I personally feel like was one of her most successful, and like I said, she's done other collaborations in between. So she's done collabed with, other brands on doing different things, whether it's fashion, fragrances. So she's done other collabs, but these are like the businesses that were kind of like Beyonce businesses. So around 2010, Beyonce launched the Heat fragrances. And I talked about this in my last live stream. So if you were on my last live stream, you probably heard me talking about Beyonce Heat perfume because I remember I had my grandmother buy me the Beyonce Heat perfume. And I had the orange one, this one here, because it smelled so good. I've always been a fragrance junkie even before I can afford it. Now I have like a huge fragrance collection, but like I would get like, besides Bath and Body Works, this was the only actual fragrance that I owned that was like an actual fragrance. Like it wasn't like a body spray or whatever. So it was kind of like one of the first. I would still buy Beyonce Heat today. I'm pretty sure it might still be in circulation. I don't know, but she ended up coming out with two others. So the red one is the first one, Beyonce Heat. Beyonce Heat Rush is actually the orange one. And then she has another one that she launched in like 2011, 2012. And this was something that I said on the last live. If this was already something that was a success for you, why did you not? I mean, she came up with a Renaissance perfume, mind you, but it was like 150. Let me see how much that perfume is. I think it's like $150. Like, really, Beyonce, you should have came out with if you could have, and I'm not mad at it because honestly, luxury fragrances, as long as the quality and the perfume oil is really good, it's worth it to me. That is something that I will pay for. Um, but let's see how much the perfume was. I guess it's called Say Noir. So yeah, Say Noir, and it is $160. Girl, I know you lying. I know you lying. I mean, that is it. It's a luxury fragrance. I get it. And let me see if it has the notes. Okay, so clementine, golden honey, rose absolute, jasmine, sambac. I'm sorry, shambia. I don't know how to say that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nambian myrrh and golden amber. Ooh, I know that smells so good. That is one I do need to go ahead and I need to go in the store and smell what that smells like, or not in the store because I don't even know if she has it in stores, if it's only available on the site, which might be another issue. Um, oh, this is like her merch. Okay, so yeah, so okay, so Beyonce Heat perfumes, I love them, and I think that she should have just started a perfume brand. Like Sacred could have been a perfume brand. It could have been a perfume brand and just launch different perfumes, really get into learning perfumery, body care. That's very Beyonce, and it could be very successful. Because people love fragrances. Now, people do normally go to legacy brands for fragrances like Dior, Chanel, um, Estee Lauder. There's legacy brands that have really good quality fragrances, and so people are gonna go to them first. But this is Beyonce. I don't care how many times. Every time I say her name, I'm saying Beyonce. Say Beyonce. Anyways, say my name. Uh, but yeah. So for the most part, people are gonna go to those legacy brands. But if she would have established herself as like a really somebody who has a passion for fragrance, I think people would have bought onto it. And not $160 fragrance. Like I need different price points. Like, yeah, $160 for a 1.7 fluid ounce. Yeah, baby, you're not a legacy brand like that just yet. So I'm gonna need you to calm down, slow your roll, just chill out. Okay, so her next launch, couple years later, is Ivy Park. So everybody's familiar with Ivy Park. Um, Back in 2014, she got a contract with Adidas to create original clothing and stuff like that based on, the name Ivy Park or whatever. And so Ivy Park, again, another brand that, like I said, look at the marketing for it. It was cute. It was with Adidas. People love Adidas, but yet somehow it fizzled out. And sometimes brands do have their end point. Like they do have their death date. I don't know what you want to call it, but they have their time where it's just like it's not going on. But if I have a feeling that Beyonce has wanted to transition from at least wants to transition from doing music forever to having an actual brand, taking her personal brand from music and being able to make money off of other things. And the reason why she can't do that is because these brands keep fizzling out. Like they keep like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she made some good money from this, but like now it's like nobody's wearing Ivy Park. Nobody's talking about it. It's gone. It's out. It's out. Like nobody cares. So when Ivy Park came around, I noticed most of the complaints, I think it was about not the price point, but I think it was about like sizing and like styling and maybe the price point too, but it was like who's actually wearing this, and it just seems like there was a lot of celebrities that like Normani and I can't remember exactly which but celebrities were Megan the Stallion, they were all modeling for Ivy Park, but regular people weren't purchasing and buying it enough. They were still purchasing and buying it enough to where it could sustain the collaboration between her and Adidas. So that was about 2014. And so, of course, like I said, she has had many collaborations in between. And then I'll get into her brands her brands that she has more so currently, because she did release a whiskey. I guess she has a whiskey brand now. So I think around her albums, she always releases a product. And so that's why it kind of feels cash grabby, because it's like you're releasing it around an album and you're trying to get more money from us, and it's not really your passion. So in 2024, so almost about like 10 years later, and like I said, in between that, she has other collaborations that she's done, different products, Pepsi commercial, different, different collaborations with other brands, merch, different things, right? Most significant in 2024, she launched Sacred, right? And so this was supposed to be like, it was like, okay, Beyonce has something coming. I know there was a little bit of anticipation, like, okay, she's coming out with the hairline. And so this is what I talked about at the beginning of the live, is that it was lacking in storytelling. It was like, oh, my mom was a cosmetologist. Okay, nobody cares about Tina. Like, I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna say it once and I'm not gonna say it again. We did not come here for Tina. We came here for Beyonce. So Beyonce, you tell us what you have to do with hair and how you gonna help us get the full head of hair that you got. And while I think that pushed her to make that video, because she did a personalized video where she was getting her hair washed and everything like that, because people were saying it's a wig, blah, 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 because, they're always on Beyonce about her hair. And like I said, I believe that she has hair, whatever. Like, Black women's hair grows, right? And it grows very long. Hair length, I feel like, is genetic and all about maintenance as well. If you're maintaining and taking care of your hair will grow long. That's it. Point blank, period. It does not have nothing to do with she's mixed, she's Creole, her mama this, her mama that. It ain't got nothing to do with that. Like I said, genetically, like all of my family, we have medium length hair. Even my grandmother, my aunt, our hair has never been all the way down to our backs, even though we've maintained it and everything like that. Whether we had a perm or whether we didn't have a perm, our hair has just been medium length. Like, it'll go past our shoulders or whatever, but it don't go all the way to our butt. That's just genetically, we don't have that. So, but we do have nice hair. We all have like the same curl pattern for the most part. We have kind of like similar hair texture. Um, yeah, and like I said, so with Beyonce Sacred, I think that it could have been successful. I don't feel like it's going to, I think it's going to fizzle out in a couple of years as well, only because it's lacking creating storytelling around the brand. It's lacking an actual vision for the brand. So I feel like people are going to use it for a while. She's gonna make a couple of bucks from it. Couple of bucks to her is 100,000, 50,000, 500,000. Like, look, she gonna make some racks from it, and then it's gonna fizzle out, and then she'll probably make another brand. I don't know. And you see, just within 2024, she came out with the perfume, Sacred, the whiskey, and then now she has a Levi brand deal. And like I said, get your bag, honey. I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying that if she wanted to kind of recreate that success of other brands like Rare Beauty and Fenty Beauty, and having a brand that sticks and stays with people, even if it's not in makeup, even if it's just, whatever, then she has to really hone down on that vision, her target audience, and also storytelling. What is her story and what is her connection to hair? If she had resonated with her target audience and said, like I said, I was backstage, and as a young girl, being in the music industry, my hair has been something that, I had flat irons on my hair, and there's always somebody in my head because I'm, on shows and everything like that. And so I formulated these products with that in mind, with thinking about not only myself, but the everyday person, like somebody who goes to work, like you have to really get into storytelling and making people understand why I should go and buy expensive ass products from you, especially in these times where everything is expensive as hell. Because why do I need to buy say cred over Carol's daughter, over Aunt Jackie's, especially as a woman of color? Well, as a black woman, let me be more specific. As a black woman, I'm gonna go to what I know. I'm not buying cred. And also, white people and other people of color, they're gonna go where they know as well. They might try it out, but after a while, spending. Let me see how much sacred is. Well, actually, I'm already on the link. Let me see how much it is for just like shampoo and conditioner, because people have to have a connection to your brand, and it's about, yeah, the product's working good as well. So for a hydrating conditioner from Sacred, it's let me see, for the full size 8 ounce, it's $30. Conditioner, $30, like $30, 30. Like, baby, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna go to my Aunt Jackie's. I'm gonna go to Carol's daughters. I'm gonna go to not Mael, because they've been having issues. But I'm gonna go to the brands that I can get. Even Tarjay P. Henson has a brand that she came out with shampoos and stuff like that, and I saw it in Walmart. And I'll probably try that over Sacred, because I don't have $30 to give to a brand that I don't know anything about. Just because it's Beyonce, like, that's not worth it to me. My hair is sacred to me. I want to no pun intended, I want to use something that I know is going to work already. I know something that is affordable, something that has already been storytelling, and I know what ingredients and everything is in it. I'm not spending $30 on a conditioner. And I use conditioner like crazy. I cannot, that's not affordable. So I wonder, like, who is she marketing to? And I wanted to say one thing as well. I know that she has a scholarship where she gives to cosmetologists, and I thought that was great. And I thought, well, why didn't she market sacred to psychologists, cosmetologists, right? So they can use that in their schools. They can, if she marketed it to businesses, she would sell it more, sell it more, right? Because now you're going in the salon and, oh, you're using Sacred by Beyonce, and that seems more what it was targeted towards. If this targeted towards the regular consumer, $30 is a lot. It's a lot of money to be spending on that. So, um, let's see here. Okay, so to move on, my marketing plan and my vision for Beyonce. Beyonce. Anyways, I love when she's saying it. So my marketing plan for her would be to get a very good brand story. Who is Beyonce? Where does it start? And I want to first of all say, because I know I'm a little content creator. It's just little old me on YouTube talking to big old Beyonce. But if y'all ever see this branding on any one of her businesses, I want you, let them know Desire said it, okay? All right, cool. So for her brand storytelling, or her brand story, I thought of, the New Orleans connections and the Houston connections, right? Because you always see that in her music. You're always seeing that in her branding, like in her music, and she's branding. Like, she lets us know she's from Houston, Texas, or was raised in Houston, Texas. Her mom's from New Orleans, daddy's from Alabama. Would that make a Texas Bama? Okay, so anyways, so I decided that, and part of her branding could be a blend of Southern charm and cosmopolitan energy. This would kind of be like her slogan, and kind of like the ambience and the energy that her brand would give. So it'd be that Southern charm with a little bit of cosmopolitan queen energy. right? And then also put, I said two, people can see through a cash grab. So in her brand storytelling, it has to be authentic to Beyonce. And so in that, she is a Southern woman. She does have that Southern charm. You know, we've seen that in the Cowboy Carter thing where she's trying to embrace the Southern roots of the rodeo and the whiskey and everything like that. But I feel like the angle she went from it, the went towards, was a little bit different than what we had expected. So I feel like that would be a really good story to tell of, you know, her blending, you know, small town, southern, not small town, but like southern vibe, southern charm with her cosmopolitan energy. Her very much, I wouldn't say sage, but her very much queen like regal energy. I also thought that why doesn't Sacred have original song from Beyonce? Like, why is she not utilizing her music as a way for her to brand her businesses? Like, why is there not a sacred secret single B-side song? Girl, get yourself in the booth, get yourself in the studio and make a theme song for Sacred, because you already know people come to you for your music and you want to get them interested in this business. So put a little jingle together for like 30 seconds. Beyonce. And put a little jingle together and then make that a part of your marketing. Lastly, visual marketing. Like I said, I will go back to Sacred. Does this look any remotely interesting to you? Like, I get it. We have the clean, sleek vibes. I like some of the packaging, which is pretty, but where's the visual aspect of this brand? Like, I it just gives very boring. I need That's a cute picture. Yeah, I need, like, it's giving, I get it, earthy, kind of like whatever, sleek, clean, luxury, but like where is the aesthetics? Where is the pictures where I can pin it on my Pinterest board and be like, "Oh yeah, you know, Sacred is a part of my mood board." Where is that? Because this is not something that I'm pinning on my Pinterest board to be like, okay, yeah, like it looks so basic. And that's okay. Like I said, sleek, clean, always gives luxury, always gives expensive. But where are, like, really and I tell you guys this because I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. Um I've told you guys I've worked within the beauty industry since 2018. I am a photographer as well. And I've also done product photography. So when I look at things, I'm a visual person first. I'm looking at, and it's not that I'm going to buy something based off visuals, but I'm aesthetically inclined, if you want to say. And if you've seen, you might have seen over at the Red Ruby Club, I've posted some of my photography. I've worked for brands and different things. And so when I say this, I'm not saying it just to be a snob and just to say things out the side of my neck. I'm saying it because I'm actually coming from a place of somebody who is very into aesthetics and who has worked with brands. Um, and when I did beauty, I worked with brands as an influencer as well. And so I'm not just saying this to be just to tear down her brand and just say whatever. I'm saying it as constructively, that this, like I said, it needs to be pinnable. This needs to be something that, like, oh, I want to, okay, let me give you an example. Let's go to Rare Beauty. I'll give you an example. Right off bat, I went to Rare Beauty's website and I already have a Pinterestable. That's not even a word. I have a Pinterestable picture. You see, with the peaches in the background and the flowers and the blurred. That's something I'm going to put on my mood board. It's something that is now a part of my atmosphere, my energy, and my ambience as a brand. And now I feel a personal connection to Rare Beauty because I'm like, okay, now these are things, I'm thinking of fresh peaches, I'm thinking of spring, I'm thinking, or peaches are kind of like summer, I'm thinking of spring, and I'm like, oh, it probably smells good, and featuring vibrant notes of juicy peach and fresh flower blossom. Now, let me go back to Sacred, which cost a lot more. Crickets, black background, plain colors. And like I said, that's okay, but there needs to be a little bit more visual storytelling throughout the brand for me to be like, okay, so, and even if it's a hair product, um let me go to Way. How do you spell Way? Yeah, Way Hair. Let me show you guys their branding because they kind of have the same colors. Okay, so this is Way Hair brand. Now, already I'm seeing a little bit more color. You see, they have the gift boxes because it's the holiday season. Um, the website looks a little bit better. Okay, they got the girl smiling. Okay, I see it. I'm connected. Branding. Rip me out the plastic because I'm acting brand new. Or yeah, even cheapy. I'm not sure what you mean, but yes, it kind of looks a bit cheap. Yes. So when I go here to Way, they have the hands with the nails and they have ribbons and bows because it's their holiday packaging. They even have this, color on there. It feels very personable. Like, look at this. Oh, I love this branding here. Look at that. The water droplets on the hair and body mist. Saint Bart scent, vacay, I feel a personal thank you. I appreciate that. Um I'm feeling a personal I'm feeling a personal brand connection because it's giving all of the aesthetic feelings that I need from a brand. Now I'm thinking of vacation. So when I'm wearing Way and I smell the scent, if you've ever smelled Way's products, it smells like St. Bart's. It smells like a vacation. Coconutty, vanilla, and suntan lotion and amber and patchouli. I'm feeling a connection because of the aesthetic visuals. Now let me go back to Sacred. Nada, crickets, boring, basic. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I just say that to say that there needed to be more visual storytelling. There needed to be more of an aesthetic appeal so that I can look at this product and be interested in it. And so I felt like the perfect blend would be that southern charm and the cosmopolitan energy. And so she could, you know, give both sides of Beyonce, the lover and the queen. So I also thought that Beyonce would do really good with a lifestyle brand instead of trying to create just a singular brand because she's already done clothing, she's done fragrance, she's done she's done a little bit of everything, right? Her lifestyle brand would focus on her fragrances, which I think is her strong point, her candles, which I feel like there's a certain demographic of people, and I'm one of them, who will buy scented candles and who can't live without scented candles. And I feel like strikes me as a person who her home looks really nice, and she has some good scented candles in there. She has some expensive fragrances on her. She has some expensive fragrances on her. Not armoire. What do you call it? Her vanity. Like she has some nice, beautiful, expensive. She gives me high quality luxury, right? At the status she is now, right? And she always tries to exude that energy. So that's what I want from her. I want a lifestyle, like, because I don't want to a lot of people want to be Beyonce, but a lot of people want the lifestyle that Beyonce has. And so I feel like body care, she's always moisturized. She always looks like I've never seen Beyonce ashy. Okay, there was one time. There was one time she was ashy, and there was a couple times she had a bad wig. But those other times, period, she was perfection. She's moisturized, looking good, like she smells good, hair laid, wig laid, Hotel Trivago, all of it. Okay. And so that's what I want from her in terms of a brand. I would really love um her to give us a lifestyle brand and incorporate fragrances, candles, body care, and if she wants to go into anything else that has home decor and home, I've said this so many times that I feel like I should be compensated now. So my cash app is Oyster Dream, and that's my actual cash app. So if you would like to cash app me, Oyster Dream. But what I was going to say is the next last part of my presentation is how to market yourself as a late bloomer and as a creative. So now that we've kind of gotten our case study out of the way, in terms of Beyonce, how you're marketing yourself is you're going to start with a strong brand story. What is your story? What is your differentiation strategy? How can you tell it? And how can you craft? Because believe it or not, my story started the Desire Feminine School. My story started the Red Ruby Club. I talked about me being a late bloomer. I talked about and that was on all areas of life, meaning learning who I was as a person, learning to define myself, but also in relationships, as well as a creative. I've gotten a late start in, my creative journey as being a content creator. I started late. And so because I was always kind of like behind the curve in most things, I started the Desire Feminine School, and then I started the Red Ruby Club in order to kind of connect with other late bloomers and be like, okay, so how can we not feel so much behind? Like, how can we not feel like we are kind of behind the curve? How can we move forward, right? And so this brand started with my story. And then the Red Ruby Club also, started with my story of just wanting to have conversations. I wanted to have real conversations. I did not want to talk about TikTok manufactured bullshit. I can be real serious with you. And I did not want to talk about um certain femininity conversations, and I did not want to always talk about celebrities. I wanted to talk about real life things, real um things that you go through as a woman, like in womanhood and just coming of age and in relationships, things that were confusing. And so over at the Red Ruby Club, and if you're not a member, you can join for free. It's free to subscribe, but you can also become a paid subscriber as well and get access to like some of the paid posts with strategy and different things on there. But I started to have real conversations about my family, about my upbringing, about my faith, about my sexuality, all those kind of conversations I started to have. And so I used my story in order to create what I have now. And so that's my big marketing tip for late bloomers is if you're a late bloomer, embrace it. A lot of people are timid or shy or ashamed or afraid to be like, "Oh, I'm kind of behind here and there," or cuz everybody's kind of behind somewhere in life, right? I know I have people on here who come in, they're like, "Oh, I'm a virgin, I'm whatever." Okay, I wouldn't say use that as your story, but it doesn't make a difference really. And a lot of times late bloomers overthink and think that because they're late, they shouldn't start because it's like I'm already late. No. When you're late to work, you don't not go to work. You still go to work. You just know you coming late. So still go to work. Go put in the work. Build the life you want. You might be a little bit late, you might be a little behind, but that don't mean don't show up. you still got to show up for you, and you got to show up for what you want as a creative, as a person. So that would be my number one advice for marketing as a late bloomer. And then I also, why is that blank? Okay. So I also wanted to talk about the red column. And let me just pull that up as we're talking. I am going to be going, I'm actually moving. So I'm actually moving to a new place. So I'm going to be moving between December and January. Well, really January time. And so I'm going on a winter break. Excuse me, why is this? Is this like this? Yeah, I'm going on a winter break. But during that time and launching in January 2nd, I should have changed that date. January 2nd, I'm launching the red column. And let me just briefly show you what the red column is. I'm launching the red column, and then over at the Red Ruby Club, I'm pretty sure you'll get some posts from me because that's not what I'm looking for. Here we go. All right. So the red column. Ooh, let me go to my channel. All right, here we go. All right, so over at the Desire Feminine School, you can see the tab for the podcast, the red column. So the red column, I actually start. Ooh, 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 ooh. Actually, didn't mean to do that. Y'all, ooh, sorry, didn't mean to show you the preview, but you got a little sneak preview. Okay, so over at the red column, it is a column that I've created to answer some of your most personal questions. I get a lot of questions from you guys, whether it's how to incorporate your feminine archetype, whether it's about dating, whether it's about what I think about relationships. And so I created the red column as a podcast to where I'll answer your questions in a podcast episode. So there is a form for it. As you can see over here, you can click on the links and you can go to the red columns form and you could submit your questions anonymously. I'm not going to say your name in there. You can submit, my friends have submitted me voice notes. And so you will hear some of my friends talking on the podcast episodes. So you'll hear some of them asking me questions and different things, or you hear it in the intro. So it's going to be really, really fun. I think it's going to be really, really fun. And so far, my friends have been loving just kind of inquiring. So if you have a question that maybe you have about love, life, sexuality, sensuality, um, identity, subculture, philosophy, politics, history, Black culture, whatever you have a question about, you can submit it for the red column, and I will try to feature you in an episode, right? Some episodes I focus on one question because there's a lot to be answered. On some episodes, I will answer more than one question. There might be some special guests. Get into it, love. And so you just have to wait and see. So the preview drops on I think it's Monday. I think it's on the 6th. On the 16th is a tomorrow's the 15th. I think it's Tuesday. Tuesday drops the official preview. And then the pilot episode is already available for members only. So members first. So if you are a member of the Red Ruby Club, Desire Feminine School on here on YouTube, then you have already gotten the pilot episode. So enjoy and definitely let me know. Leave a comment, let me know what you think of it. We kind of really get into some different things. And so that is kind of my announcement. So the red column, as I've said, just for people who are just joining, the red column is a place. It's another extension. It's an opinion piece where I answer some of your most pressing questions about love, life, sexuality, creative passions, self-discovery. I don't care how crazy the question is. Okay, I do kind of care how crazy the question is, but it could be very esoterical, it could be very philosophical, and I'll try to answer it for you guys and try to give you something thoughtful and thought provoking. And if I can't answer, I'll just tell you, look, girl, I don't know. Seek God, like, pray to God for that one, because I don't know. I don't know what you do in that situation. But you can submit that over on the forum under the links under the red column. So that's where you'll submit that. And so I wanted to also share that I want to also thank you guys, and I just say I appreciate you guys for being members, especially over at the Red Ruby Club. Over there, I do have some posts that are just for founding members, that are just for paid subscribers. And I want to say I appreciate you guys supporting me, because I really do. It makes me happy to know that I'm providing value that you feel that is worth, putting money on, worth paying for, worth supporting me. And then I can just keep creating things for you. So over at the Red Ruby Club, I have posted a couple of posts, but like I said, there are a couple of posts for founding members over there. As you can see, we got the red column. There is the Sonje, the Sonje Poetic Collective, which is where I share my poetry and photography work. So I would go over there if you want to check out some of the photography I was talking about in this live. You can go and check it out over there. And then the Ruby Book Club is a monthly book club where I post book recommendations. So if you're a big book reader, if you've seen some of the books that I've posted in the description of videos, if you want to read on the Mystic, the Mad Woman, December's book club has some really good books in it, talking about the archetypes. So if you're interested in that, that will be coming out in the next couple of days. And then, like I said, it's free to subscribe, but if you want to become a paid subscriber, I do greatly appreciate it. It does help my channel. And it does help me keep creating the things that I'm creating. And so, guys, that is my little spiel about the Red Ruby Club. So let me share this tab. I am going on a break. I'm moving, and right now I am trying to really I'm trying to really be able to get my life together. Sorry, I don't mean to say it like that, but I'm very unsettled because I'm moving to a different place. Like, I'm not moving out of like where I am, but just I'm moving to a new house, like moving to a new apartment. And so like I want to be able to like have my house set up and decorated. I'm very much into home decor. I want to have my candles lit, really get the vibe going so that when I come to you guys, I come with fresh, new, creative material, um, things that you guys want to talk about, interesting ideas. And as a creative, you just have to take breaks. And I really appreciate you guys as an audience. I appreciate my rubies because y'all let me have my breaks. Like, it's not like you guys are like, oh, unsubscribe because she didn't post every hour of the day, or like I'm never following her again because like she was unable to make this live. Like, people, I have a life outside of this platform, but this platform is also my baby. And so I try to balance those two. Like, I'm very big on balance and self-care and just taking care of myself. And so I'm trying to balance that. I'm trying to balance that right now. And right now I'm moving, and my stuff is literally in boxes, and it's a whole hassle. So we're going on a break, and the Red Column podcast launches on January 2nd. Let me put that in the I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all hearing text message notifications. My family group chat is blowing up right now. Let me just put a reminder. The Red Column launches on January. Ooh, why did I write it like that? I think that's better. Okay, so the red column launches January 2nd. So January 2nd, there will be an episode. January 2nd is a Thursday. Thursday at noon, there will be a podcast episode. So in between that time, if you guys can go in there and just send me your questions into the red column, let me know what questions you guys want answered, your Reddit questions that you post anonymously. Use me as Reddit, right? I would love to hear from you guys. And so, before my break, I have, some things, but I already have at least 5 episodes already recorded, and they're ready for you guys in January. So every week you'll be getting a new episode from the red column. And so I'm excited. I really am excited. And I'm really grateful. I will say that. I'm really grateful because when every time I have a creative idea or I have a vision, people are very supportive. Like people are like, how can we make this happen? And that's how I know and I trust myself that I'm a visionary because people never be like, "No, that's too crazy. No, that's not a good idea." People are like, "How can we make this happen? How can we help you make this happen?" And I get that energy a lot from friends, from family, and they're like, "How can I help you make this happen?" And so, yeah, guys, it is nearing my bedtime. As I told you, I had the whole debacle when I was trying to get on live. The power went out, just physically drained. And so I would like to get a good night's rest. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Happy Saturday. And don't forget to click the subscribe button, like this video, please share it so everybody can get into what I was talking about today. And I will see you guys in my next stream. You guys have a good night.